The Daily Signal, September 9th, 2025. Good morning. A New Zealand father who evaded authorities with his 3 children for years has been shot dead by police. I'm Remo, and this is the Daily Signal for September 9th, 2025. Stay tuned for the rest of the stories.
Unfiltered. Now,
Here are the other top stories for September 9th, 2025. France's government collapses as Prime Minister Bayrou loses confidence vote by a crushing 364 to 194. Nepal lifts social media ban after deadly protests leave 19 people dead in the streets. Banksy's controversial mural showing a judge beating a protester will be removed from London's royal courts. Palestinian gunman kills 6 civilians in devastating bus stop attack in Jerusalem. Train crashes into bus in Mexico. 10 dead, 61 injured in catastrophic collision. UK threatens to suspend visas for countries refusing to take back deported nationals. Argentina delivers crushing electoral blow to Scandal Rock President Milei. Norway's Labour Party wins re-election while populist parties score massive gains. Turkey's opposition barricades headquarters with tables and chairs against police siege. Now let's dive into each story. Breaking overnight, New Zealand police shot and killed a father who had been on the run with his 3 children for years. Here's what happened. This man managed to evade authorities across the country while keeping his children hidden from the system. The police finally tracked them down, but the confrontation turned deadly when officers opened fire. The children are now safe, but serious questions are being raised about police tactics. Why this matters to you? This case highlights the complex challenges law enforcement faces when children are involved in family disputes that turn criminal. New Zealand authorities are now conducting a full investigation into whether lethal force was necessary. The father's identity hasn't been released, but sources confirm he was wanted on multiple charges related to child custody violations. Meanwhile, in Europe, France's government just collapsed in spectacular fashion. Prime Minister François Bayrou gambled everything on a confidence vote and lost massively. The numbers are devastating. 364 votes against him, only 194 in favor. Here's the critical detail. France is drowning in debt. We're talking 3.346 trillion euros. That's 104% of their entire economic output. Bayrou needed support for emergency debt reforms, but left-wing and far-right parties united to destroy him instead. This connects to our global economy. When France's government falls apart, it threatens the entire European Union's stability. President Macron now faces the nightmare of finding yet another prime minister while his country burns through cash it doesn't have. In Nepal, the government just lifted a total social media ban after protests turned deadly. 19 people are dead. The shocking detail: authorities blocked Facebook, Twitter, and other platforms to stop protesters from organizing, but it backfired completely. The protests stem from deep ethnic and political disputes that have been simmering for months. When people couldn't communicate online, they took to the streets in massive numbers. The violence that followed left 19 families grieving tonight. Why this matters globally: we're seeing more governments worldwide using social media shutdowns as weapons against their own people. This sets a dangerous precedent for digital rights everywhere. Speaking of controversy, Banksy's provocative mural at London's Royal Courts of Justice is being removed. The artwork shows a judge beating a protester, and it sparked a massive debate about censorship versus public art. The mural appeared on the side of the courthouse building, directly challenging the justice system. Local authorities say it violates public property rules, but activists are calling this artistic censorship. This detail will surprise you. This isn't just about one piece of art. It represents the growing tension between street artists using public spaces for political commentary and governments trying to control the message. In Jerusalem, Palestinian gunmen opened fire at a bus stop, killing 6 civilians in a devastating attack. Israeli police responded immediately, but the damage was done. This latest violence escalates tensions that were already at a breaking point. The attack targeted innocent people waiting for transportation, ordinary citizens caught in an extraordinary conflict. Security has been heightened across Jerusalem as authorities search for additional threats. Remember this detail. Every attack like this pushes the Israeli-Palestinian conflict further from any peaceful resolution, affecting global stability in one of the world's most volatile regions. A train slammed into a bus in Mexico, creating a catastrophic scene. 10 people killed, 61 injured. The collision happened at an unguarded railroad crossing, highlighting Mexico's infrastructure safety crisis. Emergency responders rushed to the scene, but for many victims, help came too late. Investigations are underway to determine if this tragedy could have been prevented with better safety measures. The real story is this: developing countries worldwide struggle with transportation safety, and disasters like this expose the deadly cost of inadequate infrastructure investment. The UK government is threatening to suspend visas for entire countries that won't take back their deported nationals. This hardcore approach targets nations refusing to cooperate on migration agreements. Here's what they're not telling you. This policy could affect thousands of migrants and refugees, while potentially damaging diplomatic relationships with multiple countries. It's a high-stakes gamble that could backfire spectacularly. The key detail: this represents a major shift toward using economic pressure to force compliance on immigration issues, setting a precedent other nations might follow. Argentinians just delivered a crushing electoral blow to President Javier Milei's scandal-rocked government. Opposition parties gained key seats while Milei's support crumbled amid economic difficulties and corruption allegations. This means Argentina's political landscape has shifted dramatically. Milei's radical economic reforms now face even stronger opposition, threatening his entire agenda. On the economic front, this political instability affects international investment confidence in Argentina and signals trouble for Latin American reform movements across the region. Norway's ruling Labour Party won re-election, but here's the twist: populist parties scored massive gains. Despite Labour's victory, the parliament is now more divided than ever. Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre will continue governing, but with populist voices growing stronger, expect major policy battles ahead. This reflects the global trend of growing political fragmentation. This connects to European politics. Even stable Nordic countries are experiencing the populist wave that's reshaping democracies worldwide. In Turkey, opposition members are literally barricading their party headquarters with tables and chairs against a police siege. This dramatic standoff symbolizes escalating political repression under President Erdogan's government. The opposition claims this violates basic democratic freedoms, while government forces maintain they're enforcing the law. The physical confrontation represents the breakdown of normal political processes. You'll want to remember this. Turkey's democratic crisis affects NATO unity and EU-Turkey relations, with implications for regional security and human rights. Looking across today's stories, 3 critical patterns emerge that will shape your world. First, democratic institutions are under unprecedented pressure. From France's government collapse to Turkey's opposition siege, traditional political systems are breaking down. This isn't just happening in unstable regions, it's hitting established democracies too. Second, governments worldwide are increasingly using extreme measures to control dissent. Nepal's social media ban, Turkey's police siege, and the UK's visa threats all represent authorities choosing confrontation over compromise. Third, violence and instability are spreading from conflict zones to everyday spaces. The Jerusalem bus stop attack, Mexico's train crash, and New Zealand's police shooting show how quickly ordinary situations can turn deadly. Here's what this means for you. We're entering a period of global instability where traditional rules are breaking down. Political systems that seemed stable are cracking. Governments are choosing authoritarian tactics, and violence is becoming normalized. The connection you need to understand: these aren't isolated incidents. They're symptoms of a worldwide crisis in governance, where leaders are losing the trust of their people and responding with increasingly desperate measures. Stay informed, stay engaged, and remember, in times like these, your voice and your vote matter more than ever. I'm Remo, and this has been the Daily Signal for September 9th, 2025. Share this with someone who needs to know what's really happening in our world right now.
Unfiltered.